It was nighttime. A cold wind blew through the streets of Huntsville. There was happiness in someone's house, then a storm in someone's heart. But one thing was common for all. This season has never been the same. Viewers of the show may only see jokes, a few fights, and a few sharp puns. But in reality, behind every smile lay a silent war. Martell was sitting in his garage that night. Glass of wine in front, phone in hand, and only one thought in mind. Erwin, he shouldn't have come on the show, ... Right, he muttered to himself. But the fact was that Erwin had become more than just a name. He was a controversial figure. Every time it was mentioned, the audience of the show was drawn to it. The producers understood, the more his name comes up, the same rating will increase. Arionne's face, on the other hand, was confident, but also a wound in the heart. He looked at himself in the mirror and said softly, "He wants to wipe me out. But my name is now part of the game." She knew that Martell had tried to keep her out, but she also knew that she would not get out so easily now. A notification popped up on his phone. Love Marriage, Huntsville. New episode preview. The video opens. And as Martell's face comes up, Arionne's eyes got wet. She smiled, but that smile was full of anger. "Whether you like it or not, your story will live on with me, Martell, ... Kami, on the other hand, was standing in her kitchen making coffee. It was 3 o'clock in the night, and Morris sat in his room in silent displeasure. Kami said in a tired voice, "Marie's life doesn't just revolve around intimacy. I also have exhaustion, dreams, and responsibilities." Maurice let out a sarcastic laugh. "Then why have you kept this relationship, Kami? If you don't have time..." This sentence hit like an arrow in the heart of Kami. He quietly placed the cup on the table and started looking out of the window. The streets of Huntsville were quiet, but the noise inside him was growing. At that moment, a thought came to his mind. Will she really go to any lengths to save her relationship? The threesome thing that Maurice used in humor, a serious proposition, had now become. Is this the price of love? Kami said to himself. Or am I just going to be the next story of the show? The next day, there was a commotion outside the production house. Wanda stepped out of her car-high heels, colorful dress, and that famous swagger. Nell Fletcher stood in front, straightforward, strong, and confident. The producer's voice over the mic. "Ladies, this is a family event. Calm energy, please." Wanda rolled her eyes. Calm. Baby.com left this show 3 seasons ago. Everyone laughed, but Neil did not smile. She slowly stepped forward and said, "Wanda, sometimes less noise increases honor." Wanda replied sharply, "Respect. Your respect was lost when you called my name in front of the camera." This sentence was like adding fuel to the fire. Wireless headphones rang in the ears of the producers. The camera immediately turned on. This was the moment he had been waiting for. Neil took a step forward. Wanda waved, and for a moment it seemed as if the two were going to face each other. Then suddenly Tesha ran, "Mama, just please, it's a show, not a war." Wanda's breathing was rapid, but he stopped and said, "Okay, son, but remember, I will be quiet, not weak." The camera zoomed out, and in the frame were 2 women. Jo was fighting not only for the show, but also for her life. Meanwhile, the executive producers of the show were having a meeting in the room. Figures were playing on the TV screen. Episode engagement 47%. After Arionne mentioned, a producer said, "We have to get Erwin on the show, whether Martell agrees or not." The other immediately said, "Martell would be pissed. How are we going to move this story forward without him?" The first said, "That's the real drama. The more he stops, the more viewers want to watch." There was silence at the table. They all knew in reality shows, the truth is shown, which sells the most. The next day, Arionne stops his car. The cameras were far away. She got down, simple clothes, but the spirit of war in the eyes. A reporter asked Arionne, "Are you coming back to the show?" Erwin replied with a slight smile, "When did I ever go?" This sentence went viral. There was an uproar on social media. Arionne returns began to trend. Notifications started ringing on Martell's phone. He hung up the phone angrily and simply said, "This war is not over yet." The Huntsville night was filled with noise again. Social media, blogs, podcasts, the same name was echoing everywhere. Arionne's return, as if someone had suddenly released a secret that had been buried for years. Martell was sitting alone in his house. The TV was on, but the eyes were elsewhere. Clips of the show were playing on the table in front of him. A glimpse of Erwin in every frame. Every word seemed to scratch his wound. The phone rang. "Call Carlos, the show's producer." "Martell, we need to talk. You must have heard about Arionne's return to the show." The anger in Martell's voice was not hidden. "Got it? You guys judge me. I'm a founding member of this show, Carlos." Carlos said, "Martell, understand this is business. Without Arionne, the storyline will die. We have to give the audience something new." Martell's hand clenched into a fist. "That woman is the biggest regret of my life, and you are making her entertainment." The call ended. There was silence in the room, but there was only one passion in Martell's eyes. Now, revenge. The next day, on an online channel exclusive, Ariana Curry speaks out. Video uploaded with title. The studio was bright, a reporter in front of Arionne and the camera light directly on his face. The reporter asked Arionne, "People say you broke up Martell's family. Is that true?" Erwin took a deep breath, smiled, and said softly, "I don't break anyone's house. I only speak the truth. If one's house is broken by truth, then it was already empty." This sentence spread like wildfire. Thousands of comments, likes, reactions. Some are in favor of it, some strongly against it. But one thing was clear. Erwin was back. Now, it was impossible to silence him. KMI was standing in the hospital parking lot. He had 2 reports in his hand of a patient and one of his own heart. Maurice's words from last night echoed in his mind. "You can't find time for me. Then what is the purpose of this marriage?" She kept thinking for a moment. Has she really lost her husband? Or is she just lost in the limelight of this show? That's when Tiffany arrived. "Kimi, are you okay? We can all see you're breaking up inside." Kami smiled. "Breaking up isn't bad, Tiffany. It's bad when you stop showing that you're in pain," Tiffany said softly. "The producers were talking about your privacy. They want to add your sick file to the storyline." Kami's heart sank. "What? This is my life, not the rating." Tiffany shrugged. "That's the problem. Lack. Here the difference between life and rating has disappeared." Tears flowed from Kami's eyes. And for the first time he said to himself, maybe it's time for me to tell my own story, not with someone else's camera, but with my own words. Its most famous reality show moment, dinner scene where all the characters are at the same table. The producers booked a fancy restaurant. Martell, Melody, Morris, Kami, Tisha, Marceau, Wanda, and Neil are all present. Tension in the air. The lights of the cameras were flashing. Everyone was silent before Arionne entered. Then the door opened. She came. White clothes, straight steps, and fearlessness in the eyes. Wanda immediately whispered, "It's the day I used to call it. The storm is back." Arionne looked at everyone, then said softly, "I am not here to ruin anyone's life. I have come to take back my truth." Melody looked up for the first time. "Your truth made my children cry, Erwin. Some are not meant to tell the truth but to hide it." Erwin laughed bitterly. "And some truths are too powerful to hide, Melody." There was silence at the table. Martell's face turned red. "Stop it. You too. It's become a circus, not a show." Wanda seized the opportunity and said, "It's a show. Son, and a circus of your own making." The cameras took close-ups of each face. The producers knew that was the perfect TV moment that would go viral next week. In the meeting room, producer Carlos and the team were sitting. Editing was going on the screen. An assistant said, "Sir Martell is threatening to quit the show." Carlos smiled and replied, "So what? When a star leaves, a new star is formed. And now there is a new star, Ryan." The other said, "Add the deficiency disease part." Carlos was silent for a moment, then said, "No, that woman shows real pain and the audience connects with her. We won't finish it yet. The story is just heating up now." Melody was sitting in her room at night. The camera was quietly focused on her face. She spoke softly. "People think we fight for the camera, but actually we fight for our honor. The most difficult moment for a woman is when she realizes her story is being watched by millions, but no one understands his pain." Tears started flowing from his eyes. "I don't know where this show is going to go, but this much I know for sure: I will never let my silence become a weakness." Martell was walking in the lawn of his silence become a weakness. Martell was walking in the lawn of his house. The phone rang. It was Melody's call. "Martell, we need to talk. Arionne is back. The noise around you is getting louder. You have to make a decision. Are you going to be on the show or not?" Martell took a deep breath. "I don't want to fight anymore, Melody. But I am not going to run away either. I can't leave my story in someone else's hands." He paused for a moment and, looking at the sky, said, "I'll be on the show, but now on my own terms." Just then, there was a knock at the door. Producer Carlos stood up. "Martell, we want to give you the main frame of the show. A special episode, the real Martell Holt story," Martell said with a wry smile. "Oh, so now my pain is going to be your prime time." Carlos shrugged. "That's what viewers want," Martell said in a slow but firm voice. "No, Carlos. Now viewers will see what I will show, no less, no more." Kami was sitting in the hospital room. The camera slowly moved closer to her face. She said, "When you're on a reality show, so people start to think of you as a character. But I am not a character. I am a woman, a mother, a patient." He picked up the file. On it was written, "Cancer diagnosis, stage 1. His voice trembled. "I tried to hide, but now it's time to show my truth. I am sick, but not weak. I am scared, but not defeated." There was silence in the room. Every member of the production team cried. Carlos said slowly, This is the real moment. This is the heart of the show." Kami smiled and said, "Then I say, Carlos, reality is not a rating. Reality is humanity." Erwin was standing outside a radio station. 10 reporters gathered for the microphone, flashing cameras, screaming questions. A reporter said, "Arionne, do you realize that your return has affected Martell and Melody's life again?" Erwin frowned, then straightened up and said, "I don't want to harm anyone, but I am not ashamed of my silence. No one knows what I suffered. Now I'm just getting my voice back." Then he leaned into the mic and said, "And tell everyone one thing: Erwin is no longer a victim, but a warrior." The video crossed 5 million views in a few hours. People's comments were divided into 2 parts. Some called it powerful. Some call him attention seeker. But the truth was, Erwin had now regained her identity. Whether the world believes it or not, the day of the final recording of the show has arrived. A large stage, decorated chairs, and the famous reunion table in the middle. All the cast members were present. Carlos said, "Today we are finishing the season. But this time the questions are not ours, but yours. Ask each other, the one who has always been in the heart." The first question raised by Melody, looking at Erwin. "You said you are a warrior. But is it a war for one woman to break another woman?" Erwin replied quietly, "I didn't break you, Melody. I am only punished for telling the truth. If your husband ran away from the truth, so was it my fault?" Martell's face was embarrassed. He said, "I am guilty of both. I wasted 2 lives, the one I loved and one who loved me." The whole hall became silent. After a while, Kami said, "All of us have lost something. But maybe it's time to take back our stories, not for TV, for your soul." Producer Carlos nodded. Maybe for the first time, he realized that reality TV isn't just about profit, it's also about responsibility. The recording is finished. Lights off. Camera down. Silence. Melody got out. The sun was setting in the sky. He took a deep breath and said softly, "Perhaps life begins here, when everyone stops watching." Kami returned from the hospital, weakness in the face, but light in the eyes. She knew that every pain was the foundation of a new story. Arionne was sitting in her car. Opened the phone, thousands of notifications. He hung up the phone and, looking at the sky, said, "Today is the first time I'm relieved. ... because I'm no longer part of anyone's edit. Martell was playing with the children on the lawn of the house. Laughter echoed. He forgot for a moment that his life was once a drama. Now he was just a father. Reality shows promise to show us the truth, but the real truth begins after the cameras are off. Behind every bright scene lies a silent heart who just wants someone to understand him. No cut, no script, no lights. And maybe that's life, an unedited story, which we're all writing in our own way. If you've ever seen someone's story and immediately judged, so wait a moment, next time. Because behind every reality show, there is a real person. If you also want to hear the true story, like, subscribe, and comment. I want to see reality, not drama. Reality, not drama.